Right. We've finally got it working here. So yeah, I don't know what it was with that before. What was happening before, but yeah, it is finally working. I should get that other way around. There we go. So yeah, for whatever reason, normally what happens is the camera just automatically connects, like 99% of the time. Plug in the USB and it automatically just picks it up. For whatever reason, this time, for some reason, it didn't. It for some reason didn't pick it up, so I had to go into the menus and manually select it. So yeah, a system that's meant to be automatic and has worked on every other live stream flawlessly, this time for whatever reason, nada. So yeah, the live stream should be working now. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is all working fine, dandy, and great. Let me just check on the channel. Hopefully it is all working. Yes, it is. Alright, so we'll give everyone a minute to join that. Yeah, I didn't want to rely on my laptop's built-in webcam because one, it's terrible quality, and two, it means I've got to lean forward an awful lot more. So yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to tweet this out. And so yeah, during this live stream, I'm going to be watching, or should I say, rewatching 6 Sec Adventures. The first, I'll probably do the first 2 episodes at least. So yeah, and hopefully, we'll all watch it together. And but while we're watching it as well, I will give commentary on basically, like stuff that happened either during filming or during like location, and just stuff behind it, maybe stuff I didn't see on behind the scenes stuff and that at the time, which I can remember now. I do know there's a building in the second ever 6 Sec Adventures after the attack, which I filmed in, which that's a bloody headphone jack on my laptop, which closed shortly thereafter. Right, so currently apparently no one was watching. Right. One person is. I will probably talk about other stuff and like being stuff, well, the next online exclusive set and that. Possibly I've got a couple of watching now. So yeah, got a loose USB cable around here now. Which I've done that on one side. Right. So DB dabby. Right, so we're gonna make me smaller and put me in the top corner there. There we go, all nice. I'm in the top corner, and that's so I'm able to properly, react on that to this. The white balance has gone a bit off. Don't know why. But yeah, I've put the light there, it's blinding us slightly. But yeah, the white balance has gone a little bit array. Maybe if I let a bit more natural light in. There we go. There we go. But yeah, I'll give everyone a minute and that. It's not my 14th. It's the 13th anniversary not the 14th. So yeah, it's just to put the record straight, it's technically tomorrow is the 13th anniversary of 6sec as a YouTube channel, though the first 6sec adventures ever went out the day before on the 12th, which is why one of the reasons why I'm doing the stream today, to coincide with it. But anyway, if that's everything, let's start it, shall we? So I hope this isn't going to get copyrighted. Before I go into things in this, basically, the first 6sec adventures actually was made completely on a Windows Movie Maker, and this is the 4th Doctor title sequence with an effect put over it. And yeah, my editing skills were basically practically zero at this point. Why is it focusing on that? There we go. 6sec's last day of life. This story originally started out as a a half an hour script, but I had a realization check, and it was basically cut down, to its bare essentials, and that it was at times going to take influence from The Chase. Oh god, that microphone quality. Oh, and there I am.
Wow. 3 years. I believe it.
Yeah, 3 years.
Oh well.
And my hair was still longer.
Now let's go on to something.
An expert edit of me going and pretending that the laptop is getting interfered with by something.
Can't get off it.
Who knows? Who knows what?
What? Why can't I get off it?
Oh dear me.
Don't know what these.
Wow. Ooh, the editing curve being cut a bit.
A Dalek.
A Dalek.
Why are you here?
Sent by a parallel YouTube.
That Dalek voice effect was actually just me. I'm going to pause it there. That Dalek voice effect was basically an app on my phone. And basically the app on my phone, essentially, I just recorded it and then just held it up to a microphone on my actual phone. So, yeah. Essentially, oh, it's not showing anything. It's showing black. Why? Is that because I made it full screen? Yeah, it's not actually showing anything. It's showing black. Why? Is that because I made it full screen? Let me... Yeah, because it... Yeah, it's not actually showing anything. Fine, we'll... Okay. So, for some reason it wasn't showing there. I don't know why. You can see the VLC thing at the top, but yeah, I'm just going to have to do it on ordinary display capture. And, yeah, what I'll do is, I'll rewind it back to the beginning. And we'll do that bit again, but so... For those who missed it before, so the title sequence for the first ever 6sec adventures was just the 4th Doctor title sequence, but put through Windows Movie Maker with an effect put on it, because that's all I knew how to do at the time. And that, so yeah, in fact, all of Series 1, I think it was, of 6sec adventures was edited on Windows Movie Maker. I'm not sure about Mindbending. I'm going to pause it at times, so hopefully this live stream is allowed to stay up. But yeah, obviously the problem with this is we've got Tom Baker's face, and I remember my family saying, why is Tom Baker's face and that and not yours? So which at the time I had no idea, how to do other than just cutting it out. So yeah, hopefully it isn't overpowering. My name, Matthew P. Now, why is he called Matthew P. Dot? I didn't know how to spell his last name, which was Pomfrey. And so that's why I just put Matthew P. Dot. So yeah, as I said, 6X last day of life. This was meant to be a half an hour special, but that took influence on the chase. It was meant to have a bunch of different locations, and that you can see here my technical skills were basically nil. Then I'm not even using a screen recorder. It's just me pointing it at the camera. But it does show a little touch of me showing my first ever video there, which, ooh, rest in peace, headphone users. That said, young. Actually, how old was I here? Actually, I would have been 15 at the time. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the high tech effects of me going, yeah. like that's how you do it. Can't find a sound effect, just make it up yourself. What? Yeah, why can't you get off it? Why can't you get off it? I'm just gonna keep checking. Why can't you get off it? Why can't you get off it? Just to check, is there sound coming through? Hopefully there should be sound coming through on this. I can hear it very loudly, actually.
Honestly, don't know what these things. Oh.
That should have been cut a bit quicker, really. But yeah, just holding up a Dalek up to the camera. And as I said, that Dalek voice. Now, if I was to do a Dalek voice now, I'd use Audacity. I used to use Killringer in Audacity or Killinger, and now I use Distortion along with Tremolo. But this was an app on my phone, and I think I've still got it. And it was me literally recording it on my phone, then playing it back and holding it up to a microphone.
Well, you shouldn't be here. This is mine.
YouTube must make money,
This
but YouTube
channel
must destroy
belongs to me.
success.
YouTube can't do this.
Yes, YouTube must make money, YouTube must destroy Six-Sec.
That's it. I'm going to call Waleed, I'm going to call Jake, and I'm going to call Matthew. If they're busy, I don't know what they're doing.
Again.
I'll call them right now, otherwise I may die.
So, this was actually filmed at my actual high school. Yeah. And the people who were in this just then, originally, I wanted them to be in it more. But essentially, during break, I think it was break time, this was all I was able to get them to do. And basically, just to have them be in it. Essentially, they were gonna say, "Oh yeah, we'll be in it," but they wouldn't do they wouldn't do anything else and that. So yeah, and all of them, to be honest, the last time I saw any of them, I think was maybe 2017. So yeah, the audio's gone. Why is the...
Right then, it looks like I'm going.
Why did the audio go just then?
Well, they're missing out. I mean, they can't be having as much fun or excitement as I am, sure.
He just got hitting the balls for that. So yeah, just a bit of footage there just to try and spread it out a little bit. And because that was just something I was randomly filming. And that at the time, and I thought, oh yeah, that'll be funny, put it in. And I put that little voiceover and that over there just to help them connect. But that bit was actually filmed on my phone. It was a Samsung Galaxy S3 at the time. But the rest of it was filmed on my Toshiba camera at the time, and which was obviously better quality. So, yeah. You can also hear the wind. Oh boy. No ring resistors here. Oh, that.
Looks like I'm gonna have to ask Matthew.
I should have really toned down the wind and that.
In costume.
Because these were still separate audio channels, so I could have turned it down. Okay, now we're going to run into an issue here, but this part here was filmed on location. I think that's Tyne Bridge. Like we're underneath Tyne Bridge. I should have really filmed above it and panned down. Like if I was doing it now, I would start filming above it and then I would pan down and that, you know, show. But yeah, this was filmed on location, and this section, but particularly another section coming up. Some people thought it. Some people asked me, like in real life, friends who saw it asked me, was that green screened? It looked like it was green screened. I was like, no, it was real. This was real location. Like at the time, I had no idea how to do green screen. That's the one. That's the one. So, yeah. But as you can see, yeah, you know what? We'll let it play. So, you might hear or not hear the problem here. Basically, yeah, nowadays I use an external microphone, and that which is much better quality, and that which has a wind resistor on. I'm currently not using it for that. I'm using a Blue Skull mic. But anyway, the problem was I was using the built-in microphones on my Toshiba camera, which were fine. They were fine. The problem was there was two problems with it. One is that basically the microphones are good if you're right next to them, but I was, I don't know, 8 to 10 feet away from it, outside in public, with all, you know, the background noise, so you could barely hear us. What made it even worse is, for some reason, on this camera, the microphones were on the viewfinder on the display, and basically, in order to properly line up the shot, you had to flip the display so it's looking at you, which means the microphones during these shots were pointed away from us. And that, so I prioritised, you know, being able to make sure things were lined up properly rather than the audio, which was probably also a bad thing. I probably should have flipped it around, but I can't remember if I did or didn't. But yeah, I that's why 6X Last Year of Light Relived happened, because I wanted to go back and try and fix the audio, and I didn't really do it very successfully there. It was slightly better, but not much. To be honest, someday I should probably go back and... I don't know if I'd re-edit it and that, but I'd definitely try and fix the audio. What we'd do is, like, basically I would boost the vocals up and that, and maybe add a bit of back... Like, this doesn't have, apart from the intro and the outro, there's no music and that throughout this entire thing. You can also see here I'm wearing... Well, I'm wearing a Lavazzi Season 12 scarf, and I'm wearing just a shirt and a waistcoat with a tie that I've tried to tie up like a cravat, but the jacket itself was actually just a jacket that I had. I remember that was from Primark, and it was a tenner, and I remember one of the blue ones I wore on the second one, that was only a £5, but yeah, and it's the character options 4th Doctor Sonic as well. You can hear there, you really can't hear what we're seeing, because that was the script. That was the script. Yeah, if we go back... There it is. There's the script. This is the only 6 Sec Adventures that was actually done off a script. Like, actually, every single line was like written down. Everything was written down. And that was actually done from a script. And this was also the reason why it was. Because we decided, I don't know, about halfway through filming to just go off script, basically, and just improvise. And it felt more natural, which is why any future 6 Sec Adventures didn't have any scripts. What they did have is basically we had an outline of, okay, this is what needs to happen, you know, in this scene. This is and that, but you know, we're very loosey-goosey with the rest of it. So basically, I would think of something that, okay, this is what I want to do, and then just kind of think on the fly on what happens next. And my hair is quite long at this point. So the reason Matthew's doing that is basically I told him to give a bit more motion, because he literally, I think it was in the outset, you can see him just standing like there, like a plank of wood, and I wanted to give it a little bit. Oh God, what's happened to the white balance there? I wanted to give it a bit more motion into things, just to, you know, make it more visually interesting. And that, so he decided to just do this, which gives it a little bit of motion. It looks less awkward, because I think it is like standing static, completely still like this, not moving, and that just I just felt looks completely unnatural. I mean, this doesn't much either, but I think it looks more natural. It looks more natural than what the other thing was. It looks a bit more visually interesting. Okay, so this. Now, what this is basically, one, I should have taken this picture horizontal, not vertical. I think the reason I did is not to get anything out, but what this is it's a 5-inch Dalek, as you can see. But that is not a green screen. That is literally a Dalek, a picture of a Dalek taken in front of my laptop screen. And the photo itself, I should have taken it in landscape, but I didn't. I took it in portrait, which is why it's like that. But yeah, to try and make it look like the Dalek is there, and that, and really what I should have done, what would have been better, is if I'd taken a figure with us on location, and just done what I did before with the forced perspective, or not being able to see how big the Dalek really was, which is something I did do in a later one. But yeah, just having a static image and that like that, just like, yeah, I think that's one of the weirdest part. But the voice here, here we go. Like, to be honest, other than the interference in the voice, like, to be honest, I don't think the modulation is that bad, actually. That app did a decent job with it. The modulation wasn't that bad. But yeah, it's bits like this section here that some people like Skull said was bits like this that they said, is that a green screen? And I can see why you could think that, but it was just on location. And I think what happened is basically it's the depth of field of the camera and that tricking you into thinking it's a green screen, but it wasn't. We were really there, and you'll hear by the audio that we were really there as well. So yeah, that's me explaining the plot. So basically, I took inspiration of a certain YouTuber who did a very bad thing recently. But as well as Batman March and other YouTubers, I decided not to do it as a Doctor Who film particularly, and instead set it in its own sort of spin-off 6 Sec Adventures world. And the way I justified it is basically YouTube's agents had been sent to destroy me because YouTube just wants to make money and doesn't want YouTube channels, you know, that don't make any money. That was basically the justification for it. But in order for them, the YouTube agents could come into reality, they have to go through my YouTube channel, since my YouTube channel was of a Dalek sec. They enter as Daleks. That was basically it. I mean, it only really existed, you know, with the first couple, and then that premise was kind of, you know, it wasn't abandoned, but it was just mentioned less. Like, it wasn't like the be-all and end-all, just like YouTube just became, you know, just like, okay, more of an excuse of how to do things. And that, but yeah, let's see how I explain it. No gun sound effects. I should have added some gun sound effects there. And again, just holding on these shots a little bit too long. Like, you could even see a little wobble there. Yeah, rather than saying too old for this, I said I'm too fat for this now. Oh boy. Oh boy, am I. Again, same location, just round the corner. This is where we started improvising the script, even though I did literally just pull it out my pocket. Green man! You can hear the beeping. Yeah, I don't think that the improvisation worked too well there.
We must not fail our mission aboard YouTube. We must destroy Zigzag. Locate Zigzag.
It's never really clear if it's meant to be just one Dalek or not. This was another bit where people school said, "Is that a green screen?" At times, but yeah, that building in the background here, on the top left here, which is I'm just gonna. I realise that's probably underneath me. Oop, wrong one. But this building here, top left here, that was a building called. There's a building in Newcastle called the Sage, and back when I was, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9. I honestly can't remember. I was still young at the time, but I sang in a choir there with the school back then for one night, I remember. And yeah, the problem I remember the problem was that obviously we were a bunch of, you know, school kids who were like, again, probably about 8 and 9, so you know what, we weren't very tall, but also they decided to have a smoke machine on. And the problem is that the smoke machine completely covered us. So, completely went past us. But the next problem was we were breathing in smoke from the smoke machine, which was literally right next to us, inhaling it, and it made it a bit harder to try and sing, like when you got this in your throat. So, yeah, it just whoever's idea of a smoke machine that was at the Siege during that, when you've got little kids on the stage. Not little, but still pretty little kids. Yeah, but it was a stupid idea. But anyway, I think I'm holding the sonic screwdriver in nearly every shot here. Oh no, he's quite a bit out of shot. Now, this was just after Time of the Doctor, and I think you can see where the information's come from. Ooh, that was a weird jump. So...
Exterminate.
Oh, I remembered the gun sound effect there, and... Yeah, this is also why... this was, I think, one of the only bits where Matthew was the cameraman. Because most of it was just obviously just on a tripod, but I asked him to pan down, and he kind of jerks it and that. So, it didn't pan very smoothly. Okay, now there's two problems with it. Now, I asked Matthew to look shocked. And this is what... And that's what he did. Also notice, during this part, there's no modulation, it's just me doing the voice on location, and I forgot to dub it over later on. And here we go, we start the regeneration. Blup, blup, blup. And again, if you saw it in the outtakes, he goes, "Impossible, how can you?" Instead of, this. I still think this is just a bit more dramatic, so, yeah. People just walking past, by the way, during this.
Alert. Six-sec is regenerating. Six-sec is regenerating.
Six-sec lives on forever on YouTube. Again, Time of the Doctor recently been on. Ooh, we're finally at a different photo. That took so long for the data to do that, and then again to fill out the screen, I rotated the picture sideways. Why? I should have cropped it, but yeah, just flip the image sideways and veered onto it. So yeah, just holding it on that one shot. Windows Movie Maker at its best. Okay. So, I asked Matthew to look sad during this, and he's kind of, I said, just kind of have your head down, and Matthew is not an actor, neither am I, but yeah, I know I'm ripping it and that, but yeah, it is funny. I give fun. He did it for me. Like, he really didn't want to do, like, he hated being on camera for anything, but he did it as a favour to me, and that's so I much appreciate it. And again, you can definitely see the location of this one, but yeah. He finds my scarf, and then doesn't really know what to do with it. That was in the thing that he does find the scarf, but again, should have cut it a bit. Oh. Ooh, knock the tripod. I'm quite proud of this explanation, but something I will say, what the hell is this advertisement in the background over here? That was on the side of a building. So, yeah, but this was filmed on a bridge. I can't remember the name of the bridge. I just love the people who see us filming in the background and just get up and just go, nah. I have regenerated. Yeah, so basically I had to regenerate into someone else on YouTube. And I regenerated into the new Six Sec, which was another channel I had at the time. I still technically do, I just never upload to it anymore. That was a technology-focused channel that I just kind of lost interest in. But, yeah, that was my explanation of just like, oh, well, it's another channel, it's different account and that, but, you know, it's still technically me. That was my way around it. So I did technically regenerate into someone else on YouTube. I just, also, you might notice, I'm missing a tooth there. So, yeah, I think that was the last tooth to go. In terms of my baby teeth, my milk teeth. So yeah, I think I recently lost it and I was still waiting on it coming through. But yeah, just a fun fact there. Why is it muted the audio again? Pardon me. He doesn't. Why I decided to do a Dalek sound effect for that, I have no idea. Also, I love the fact I've just paused on that, because like, my hair's flicked up in the wind. That's the thing to take a screenshot of me. Let's jump off the bridge. I do like the quite with it that ended there. Ooh, that's loud, but yeah. For the credits, I decided to use the 8th Doctor Big Finish titles. Yeah. Again, just pausing to. You know what? I'm gonna mute the rest of that just to let it play. Hey, there's the old little people who guest starred in it. My name quite a lot in there. Yeah. Thanks for 3 years. But yeah. Yeah, so that was the. Ooh. There we go. So yeah, that was the first ever Six Sec Adventures, and yeah, the problem. So basically, what happened afterwards is I really enjoyed doing it. I was really happy with it, and what I decided to do afterwards is basically I planned out a full series. Afterwards, in fact. I wish I had that piece of paper. I had a piece. I remember it was during registration one day in high school, and I wrote down like a synopsis of like each story I was going to do. How many episodes was I going to do? I think I was going to do like 13 10-minute episodes. Each one. Each one of them was going to be. I was going to do three 3-parters and 1 4-parter, and each one of them, each episode was going to be about 10 minutes long, same as the pilot there. And I wrote like brief synopsises, you know, for what each episode was, and you know, I was hoping Matthew, you know, was going to continue, but and I remember I texted him saying, "Oh, will you do some more Six Sec Adventures?" and that with me, and he said, "Oh, I'll, you know, only in cameos and stuff like that. I don't want to do another full one." And that he didn't like doing it, being on camera and that. And I was like, "Oh, okay," which was not ideal. So I said to him, I then asked him, "Okay, then will you come back to do then, you know, another full one more?" And he said, "No." he said, I'll do, we'll go out one day. So basically, I had one day. Well, basically, like, I don't know, an hour ish, shall we say, of filming time with him to basically I had to do two things. I had to write him out as quickly as possible, but then the plan was for after the attack was to basically write Matthew out. It was meant to write Matthew out, and then introduce. It was meant to be a two-parter initially. It was part one was going to be like the start of part one was going to basically write Matthew out, and then the rest of the story was going to introduce a new companion. And the person who was meant to do it said that they were going to do it, and it was one of those people who kept changing their mind on whether they wanted to do it or not. And in the end, I just knew that they weren't going to do it in the end, so in the end I just went, oh, if you're not going to do it, then just don't. Then, so in the end, they didn't bother doing it. So then I had a problem. In that, basically, I essentially had half of part one done. Yeah. I essentially only had half of part one done. So it was just like, what on earth am I going to do here? To make it fill, the full runtime. And, if we go back on to making me smaller again. So if you go on after the attack, rather than the adventure just starting, you get this introduction at the beginning. And we'll watch the introduction, because honestly, every time I watch it, I've always skipped past the introduction. But we're going to watch it and see what I say.
Hello YouTubers,
Oh god, that audio is bad quality.
for 4 years now. 4 years, unbelievable. And this is just a very quick introduction. Now, this was, and still is, part of a trilogy of 3 episodes of Doctor Who's 6 Egg Adventures. However, I haven't had time to film all of the remaining 2 episodes on this, so you're still getting this one now. I'm still going to put it out now.
So yeah, basically, what I then decided to do is, rather than make it a 2-part story, I was going to make it like a prelude type thing to a 2-part I had in mind for, which was Mind Bending, which is going to be a 2-part. So basically, it was meant to start off with because of like all the mishaps and the misstarts in filming. I basically didn't have time to complete filming that for an entire trilogy of stories, which is basically, I planned to do, initially, I originally planned to do 6 to 13 episodes, and that didn't happen. That obviously didn't happen, so I decided to basically make it a trilogy, and this first part of this trilogy, and that was basically the reason it's called After the Attack. Is it's basically just a bit of an epilogue to what happened at the end of that, and setting a few things up for later on, but as a story on its own doesn't really have much impact.
So bear in mind that if it feels a little bit hollow, that's just because it was originally just going to be part of the trilogy, the first part of it. So I hope you enjoy, and
So yeah, 54 seconds there. Now this is 9 minutes and 8 seconds, so it is short. So if you minus the 54 seconds, we'll call it a minute. So basically it's about 8 minutes long. So what I did is I filmed a couple of extra bits with this because basically I had roughly about 5-6 minutes. So I decided to film a few more bits and also do that introduction to try and expand it out as much as I could. But also, this one features a slightly modified title sequence where I've added a warping effect onto it, like the bubble warping effect, but also the different colours into it, so you'll see. But yeah, and also on this one, I added a silhouette of myself doing that. Yeah, and because of Windows Movie Maker's limitations, that is the best I could do to try and blend it in to the title sequence. So yeah, that's why it does that. 6 second. It finally says 6 second adventures in the titles. Hooray! I can't remember where this music is from. Oh, I've just written MGP for him. After the attack in a different font. Hooray! Now, this stop motion animation and also the prequel to 6 Second Adventures. These animations were done on a 3DS XL. Yep, I used the 3DS XL's built-in stop motion, which is why it looks, so fuzzy in that. But to be fair, it was a pretty good built-in thing, and it meant that these existed, whereas otherwise they wouldn't. The Dalek there is actually holding a speaker grill. I think it's from a radio-controlled 5-inch Dalek there, just blue tacked onto the speaker to make it look like it's got some sort of sensor or something. Also, the background here. So, this is actually outside my bedroom door, but the black thing there, that's actually a PlayStation 2. And can you actually see, just at the top there, it's red memory card sticking out there. What happened there? Unfortunately, I've cross-faded too quickly with that, and you miss the end of the animation where the eyes and that go up and down and they start moving around. Don't know what happened there. So that bit, along with the Dalek bits of animation, was stuff that was added in afterwards. So yeah, this is basically meant to be me getting back from after jumping off the bridge. And stuff like that. You can see my old wardrobes there. They used to be my dad's when he was a kid. They were about 40-something years old when finally got rid of them. There wasn't much room to collapse down in, unfortunately. Yeah. You can see my old hi-fi down there. Hooray. Admittedly, I probably have more floor space then than I do now. What? I don't know what's happening here. What I decided to do for this video is download the episodes again. So I'm watching the YouTube versions, but I'm not streaming them, but it's doing something. What's it doing? Oh look, a Sports Direct. That is my bin bag. I remember my granda saying, "You should have took that bin bag down. Everyone will see your mess." It's just like the fact that I had a bin bag there, but yeah. You can also see those wardrobes are very wonky because they were starting to they were already starting to fall apart at this point, but by the time we got rid of them, they were literally barely holding together. Just like the TARDIS, they're all wonky, like in season 13. Dunno, but that shirt is very tight on me then. New proper colour. Casual. Also, fun fact, those wardrobes didn't contain any of my clothes. Yeah, those wardrobes, even though they were in my room, they were all just either my dad's or my mum's clothes. My clothes were never in there, so I remember saying to them, look, get your clothes out of this wardrobe and that I need the space. So, yeah, but their clothes remained in there until about 2020 or something like that, so just afterwards. But that wardrobe didn't actually contain any of my clothes. Casual. The post-Kree generation, look for the clothes. It's doing that thing. What the hell? I think you just heard my mum shout in the background in the video there. No hangers. A Trilby. What? I don't know why this video is so screwed up on the downloader. Dabba-dee dabba-die. I don't wear polo shirts anymore. Okay, so this was filmed, and I think you can see, it was filmed in a mall in Newcastle. That is no longer there, and you can see why. Basically, all the shops at this point were closed. There wasn't a single shop open. The last shop I think that was open there was a Pound World, but yeah, this was filmed in 2015, and yeah, this mall was a few doors down from Forbidden Planet. But yeah, the reason I wanted to film in there is because I wanted to film, in a more interesting location. But I didn't want to film quite outside. This was just there was nobody there, so it was perfect for doing a little bit of filming. And I wish I'd done more, to be honest. But yeah, this is basically it closed not very long after this. And it no longer exists. It became like a hotel with other shops and taking it up, but the actual, shopping centre bit in there no longer exists. So yeah, it was basically just like that, where I'd only ever walk like most people. It was open, you could walk in it, but there was no shops open in there at this point. So it was basically just to use as a shortcut to cut off a corner, essentially. But here we go. And that light blue jacket there, that was £5 from Primark. That sound is the sound of a cleaner with one of those floor buffers going round. Unfortunately, they started while we were filming, so yeah, that's what that noise is. Should have cut that bigger. I think Matthew's infinitely better in this. I think he's infinitely better in this. I think, again, it was just basically just made up on the time. I remember this was actually filmed, apart from that opening bit of me in my room. This was filmed on my phone because I remember for some reason my camera hadn't charged the battery for some reason. So the battery in my camera was dead. And I was meeting Matthew for film. I was like, God, what we're going to do? So I thought, okay, we'll just film it on my phone. And to be honest, it came out looking better. It doesn't look quite as nice as it would have looked if I had my proper camera. But, you know, needs must, and it meant it got me because it did take a lot of convincing to get Matthew to come back at all. So, yeah, and again, we have a bit of a panning shot here, which is nice. This is just before you get to the keep, which is the castle at Newcastle. So that's where this is filmed. No stabilisation on my phone, unfortunately, at the time, but no fountain. I'm sure it was the madness, and then he gets up and leaves and walks away. What the hell is going on here with this download of it?
Matthew, wait! Look, come on. Look, Matthew, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. No, it's just like, not quite right in my head at the minute. I seriously am sorry. I'm gonna make it up to you, I promise. It will never happen again. Well, they're still out there, you know. They're still out there.
Well, of course.
They'll stop at nothing to try and kill me.
Why kill you? I mean,
Well, make money. That's all this YouTube is nowadays.
basically you weren't popular. No, Ryan, I can't take any more of this. After the little stunt you pulled on the bridge, I'm done. Goodbye.
To be honest, I think the exit kind of works. Because up until this point, at the time of Corona exit, you know, nothing had quit. Like, yeah, I'm happy enough with the exit and that. Yes, it had to be, you know, a little bit rushed, but I think if you take this more as an epilogue type to 6X Last Year Life rather than its own thing, I think it works a lot better. I don't know what's happening with this file.
That happened to me. You can be sure I'd never want to go again.
I said goodbye, just go already. Oh, don't do it again. It wasn't quite goodbye forever. We did see Matthew very briefly one more time in mind bending. Ooh, my hand popped in the frame. Quite like the chanting there. Yeah. But we have a next time at the end of this one. Because part of the next story had actually been filmed. Oh God, no. Mind-bending part 1. delete that one. So, gotta keep drawing the wrong box. There we go. So, we're gonna put chat amongst yourselves a second because I'm gonna get a drink of water. Oh, it's better. It is better. So, yeah, so basically, you know, I start doing mind bending, and mind bending. Go take these off. I think that'll be the end of the reactions, at least for now, because mind bending I think I'll do maybe at some other point. But mind bending initially was going to be focused, more on the new companion. So yeah, mind bending was again originally planned out as a two-parter, and was basically, you know, meant to focus more on the companion. And in the original, you know, ideas and that for the story, I wasn't going to feature that much. I was basically going to be trapped in a universe, basically fighting other versions of that of myself, and that, and basically because I didn't have any, you know, new companion and that for it, that kind of flip-flopped everything, so it became heavily focused on me because there was no other companion and that in there. And I remember I was on a video call with Matthew, and it was during the filming of part 2, where I did, you know, I said to him, you know, you said you'd do maybe some cameos and that. I said, could I get you to do a very quick cameo now since we're on a video call and I'll just record it? And he agreed to that. He did agree to that, so yeah. But that was the last time he did a 6-second Adventures. But it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be the last time, because during our last year of sixth form, I'd done series. Basically, series 2 of 6-second Adventures was unfinished for various reasons, and the reason is basically exams and everything, just preparation for exams and everything was getting in the way. But also, my brother, just like he is today, refused to finish any of the filming, which is why Cybermat Part 2 and Frozen Over Part 2 never got finished. That's why they never got finished. And he was meant to be in The Evil Within a lot more. He wasn't meant to just be in flashback sequences in that story, and the reason is basically because he refused to do the filming. And I decided, okay, I'm able to finish The Evil Within filming and that without him. I'll just have him feature in the flashbacks, which were already recorded. Those were recorded in Portugal. But I then decided, you know, obviously I couldn't really finish Cybermat Part 2 without him, and, you know, that is just kind of sat there for various years. And that, but yeah. And then Frozen Over Part 2 never got finished either. But what I plan to do is, basically, I plan to do a final 6-second Adventures, and actually, let's go to my website. Yeah, let's go to my website. So if I make myself smaller again, you know, let's twist the camera for this. If I make myself smaller, a little bit larger, and we'll share my screen again. So this is my website. And as you can see, it has not been updated since 2016. 2016 was the last time I did a proper update to my website. That's why. Yeah, for some reason it's gotten rid of these used to have a white background. But you can see here, 6sec DVD/Blu-ray recommendations. I'm recommending Power of the Daleks, the original version. Yeah, these used to have white backgrounds, and for some reason it's gotten rid of the white backgrounds. I don't know why. But anyway, if we go into 6sec Adventures episode list, we can see here 6sec Adventures episode list, Series 1, 2014 to 2015. So yeah, we've got the pilot. And I also wrote some technical notes saying stuff like the first 6sec Adventures was filmed in 1080p at 30 frames per second. Same as After Attack. And Mindbending was the first double length episode. Not really. It's kind of an episode and a half. And Mindbending Part 2 though was double length. I nearly made it 3 parts, but I still wanted it to feel like a trilogy, so yeah. But that's why. But also note that it was the first to be filmed in 1080p at 60 frames per second. But you might notice here it says Daleks cameo and Daleks cameo on that one. And there's a reason for that. There's a very good reason for that. So, basically, in Mindbending, you'll see there's Daleks in it. There's Daleks. In fact, you know what? We'll show the Daleks. We'll show them. We'll get them back up. So, where is it? So, where are the Daleks in this? So you can see there's some Dalek animation here. This one was done on my phone for the first time. But yeah, you might be wondering, people who have watched Mindbending might be wondering why. Why is there bits of Dalek animation in there that aren't part of the plot or anything else? Why are there just bits of Dalek animation in there? And the reason is they weren't actually made for Mindbending. They weren't made for that story. Because I said, initially, it was meant to be a full-flown series. And basically, the last story of Series 1 was meant to be called Preparing for War, which was basically going to end in that, with the Daleks and that preparing, you know, for war. And that's what that stuff was for. Like it was basically going to end with a cliffhanger with the Daleks, you know, coming back, and then the first story of Series 2 was going to be called War Cry, which then the Daleks, you know, would then, you know, it would basically just be a continuation of that, would be a second part to that. And War Cry, well, it did end up happening. Preparing for War didn't. And basically, elements of that, stuff that was already done with that, I ended up sticking into Mindbending. One, to basically give a bit more variety so it isn't just me throughout the entire thing. Because there was a lot of me's in there. And just help break it up a bit and give it a bit more variety. But also the fact I'd worked and done this, you know, these bits of animation. And I wanted to, you know, use them and put them somewhere. I didn't want them, you know, to just go completely unused and that in the end. So that's why, basically, they're in there. They're in there from an old plot thread in there. I think also the bits in After Attack, or parts of it, you know, are in there because, basically, Preparing for War never got made. And it's a story that really doesn't need to get made now. Now, I did have the idea of resurrecting that idea, though. And for those who remember, I did Series 1 of 6sec Audio Adventures, which we'll go back to my website for that. We'll go back to my website, so we'll make me smaller again. And we'll go back to my website. So, audio dramas. 6 Sec Adventures audio dramas. So, in 2017, after basically my brother decided he wasn't going to do any more 6 Sec Adventures, and I couldn't find anyone else to do it, I decided, and also the limitations, of it as well, I decided to... This is when also I really I was really into Big Finish at the time, because it was during sixth form where I really got into Big Finish, because during study periods I'd be listening to that. So in 2017 I started doing audio adventures, which meant I could go beyond the limits and that I could do in filming in live action. So I introduced a new companion called Rob, who I also played with an accent. The accent went a little bit all over the place at the time, but as you can see on my website, this story takes place between Mind-Bending and Warcry. And as you can see, the last protocol, I've mentioned this before in X Behind the Scenes, but that was originally an actual script for a Doctor Who fan film that never got made, which was repurposed for that. Turbo the Trump, which from 2018, it still says Part 2 coming soon. I did actually finish Part 2 years later. I can't remember when I finished Part 2, but I remember it was past 2018. Then the story, which you might be surprised that I think the first 2.5 parts are finished. Yeah. At least the first 2.5 parts. Maybe, yeah, I think about 2.5 parts of this story are finished. I know Part 1 is finished, and most, if not all, of Part 2 is finished. I don't know if I got on to Part 3. But The Time for Toys, as you can see, was meant to be released in 2018. That was going to be the finale for the first series. Then, Series 2, Black Light, which was meant to feature the return of the Vasca Narada. Or something. I don't know. Basically, what was meant to happen at the end of Series 1 of 6 Sec Audio Adventures. At the end of Series 1, after defeating the Toymaker, we get trapped in a parallel world. And it could take a different spin on things. The second story was going to be a story with the Autons. And I can't remember how that one went, to be honest. But yeah. I know the third story was actually going to be a flip-flop type story where it was actually going to reveal Matthew's introduction. How we first met. And it was meant to run parallel with the main story that was happening in this parallel universe at the same time. And then the final story was going to be a story featuring the Daleks, but because they're in a parallel universe, these Daleks are have a different mentality to the Daleks from our universe. They're not good, but they're not necessarily the Daleks and that we would know. It was going to be something different. I don't know what I was going to do with them off the top of my head, but I know it was going to be different, and it was going to have bits based from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein's monster and other bits. But then at the end of Series 2, we were going to get back into the regular universe again, our universe. But then the final story and that of 6 Sec Audio Adventures that were going to be taking place between Mind-Bending and Warcry. The final one was going to see Rob leave, but then the final one was going to be called Preparing for War, and it was going to be, the story Preparing for War. It was going to be different, from what the original idea was, but it was going to be like a more of a proper introduction to Nathan, and it was then going to basically set up and lead into Warcry. So you'd have these adventures, bitten in the middle. But obviously, none of those ever happened. I did do more audio adventures. 6 Sec, audio dramas, The Zombie Christmas, and that takes place after Series 2 and after Six Sex Life Relived. And then obviously 2018, The TARDIS Logs, which is basically my version of the Companion Chronicles type thing. The Fish Tank of Death. Now, I released part 1 back in, presumably 2018, and if you remember, I think it was in 2020, is when I did parts 2 through 6, where I finally finished the rest of the story. And yeah, it was, that story took place obviously before the first ever Six Sec Adventure, so in the timeline, technically that one comes first. And that, and I do an impression of Matthew, which I don't know if he'd be happy about. I don't know. The last time I actually saw Matthew, I saw him on a train, actually. I've seen him on a train a couple of times. Yeah. As I say, yeah. In terms of, you know, will there be any more Six Sec Adventures? Maybe audio ones in the future, but unless I can really get anyone else to do it with us, you know, I mean, never say never, but unlikely. What did I do with my phone? There it is. So yeah, so now that next bit's over. Oh, I've just seen a comment saying Tom K says, "Have you got a job?" Well, funny you should mention that. The answer is no, but it's an annoyingly no. Basically, I was meant to be interviewed yesterday. I was meant to have a job interview yesterday, and unfortunately, on Tuesday this week, basically, I was told last Friday that basically one of the jobs apprenticeships I'd applied for said, "Oh yeah, they'd really like to interview you." I thought, great, and basically, then on Tuesday, because they hadn't given me a time, they given me the day but not a time. So on Tuesday, I still hadn't received anything. So I asked them, oh, what about a time? And I was then told, oh, the apprenticeship is being withdrawn, which has happened to me before. So yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get an interview or anything. So yeah, that stuff like that just irks me to no end, because clearly what's happened is they've hired someone internally, and that. But yeah, it's annoying that, you know, I didn't even get a chance to have my interview. Didn't even get the chance to have my interview. So, yeah. Anyway. Harris1234, that person anyway. Thoughts on Snake Dance? I can't stand it. I find it boring to no end, unfortunately. I think I've only watched it twice. And that was once when I got the DVD and the second time when I got the Blu-ray. I'm going to get another drink of water. Actually. Don't be mistaken by the label. I'm just using this as a water bottle. I wish I did have more flavoured water, but I'm out. I need to get some more. Shiny Wake says, does anyone else use the 2023 B&M Renegade as a Destiny Dalek? No. I mean, it doesn't really match Destiny that well. Anyway, I'd say it's closer probably to Destiny colours than it is Renegade colours. But no, I use my Destiny Daleks as Destiny Daleks. Oh, mate. Hello, Francesco. Tom K says, you don't have to change your clothes, do you? You've just got red and blue lumberjack shirt. You don't have to change your clothes. Well, I mean, this one isn't exactly that, but all my shirts are this. All my shirts are from Primark. I buy the same shirts as PB Props. We both shop in the same section. And also have multiple of the same shirt. For example, I've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6. I've probably got at least 6 red and black checkered shirts. That all look basically the same. Tom K says, maybe stop playing pretend and actually get a job. We all pretend to be Doctor Who when we were little, but now, especially your 25-year-olds, it's time to grow up. Well, it's not really playing. I mean, it is, but also it is making, that they are essentially like short films or episodes. So, yeah, that's like saying to Shruti Gatwa now, stop pretending, stop playing pretend, that doesn't really resonate. Shiny Wag says, bro, getting a job ain't that simple. Like, remember how competitive getting any job is, no matter how good your skills are. Yeah, I can tell you, it's not about skills for the most part. It's basically 90% of it is who you know. And if you don't know anyone, it's 10 times harder. But he's not even trying to do a job. Yeah, I couldn't cope in a job in a supermarket. I couldn't cope in that. And to be honest, until literally the other week, I wasn't even looking anymore because I was still depressed. I was still really... and it's still not over. But, I was not in a good enough mental state for working. Also, Tom K, why are you so obsessed with me and whether or not I have a job? And that as well. Why are you so obsessed with that? Just saying. People compass for 625, next I said, God, this is all about me bloody having a job, that is just boring as hell. Hello, Arming27. Sing 505 by Arctic Monkeys. I'm worried I might get copyright. 505 is not one of my favourites out of Arctic Monkeys, to be honest. Yeah. How did that one go again? I know it was on my phone. I've got it on my phone. I should play it there. You're not a professional actor or director. I'm not claiming to be. Technically, in my last position, you could say because of the job, I was technically like the last job I had was running a YouTube channel for a company and making all the videos in that on there, and some of them were basically writing and directing a couple of adverts for that company. And so technically, I was in a professional role at a job, so technically I have been a professional director, technically I have been a professional director. But, yeah, I would never put that on there, but technically I was directing it and that, so you could technically argue that. But that was in a long list of that job description. Basically, in that one, I was basically doing anything and everything. Trying to keep that company afloat because, my God, the business owner did not. Which is why, I ended up losing. Well, I never technically lost that job. She just wanted me to work for free. And kept promising me I would get paid later. She actually owes me £1,700 at least. But I'll never see that. And she never paid into my pension either, like she was supposed to. I still get a letter every month about that. But anyway, I'm sick of talking about, my jobs and work and stuff like that. We'll talk about something more fun now, because that's boring. I wasn't depressed because I didn't have a job. I was depressed because my granny died. That's why I was depressed, not because I didn't have a job. I was a lot happier, actually. Serious about making money, blah blah blah, yeah. Again, I'm gonna ignore all comments about jobs now because I'm bloody bored of it. Yeah, I didn't have a job before my granny died, but I wasn't exactly in the depression that I was after she did. Like, I was still applying before she died. I said I was going to stop talking about that. I'm going to. Here we go, finally. What do you think of the new Destiny Bomber Daleks? I hope it has the neck boosters. Well, here's the thing. Depending on the... Now, if it's the one with the black oval, it should have the neck boosters. But it depends on... Because Destiny has so many different ones. Obviously things could change, but depending on what Dalek it's eventually going to go for. But the fact that we've seen sample copies, basically, if it has a black oval, it should have the neck boosters. I'm inclined to think that it will have it, and I think the other pictures that we've seen are of earlier versions, possibly. But I don't know, because again, some Daleks would need it, others wouldn't. It depends, basically, which one it's based on. But yeah, if it's meant to be based on the one with the black oval, then it should have the neck boosters. It's hard to tell in the picture, though, whether the one that does have the neck booster in those leaked images has the newer Slack sculpt or the older one. It's really hard to tell because... hair in my mouth. That one's particularly blurry, that one. So, yeah, it's a bit harder to tell with that one. But, yeah, hopefully, is what I'm going to say. I'm surprised we still haven't had any word on that yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do hear again about it within the next few weeks. To be honest, I'm surprised we didn't hear anything this week about it. But, yeah, especially being an online exclusive as well. Because normally those things are pretty well kept and locked away. But as an online exclusive as well, someone was surprised that I correctly predicted that set as well. In a previous video, saying, "Oh yeah, the Movellans with the Destiny Bomber Dalek," which it's not hard to predict because a Movellan is not the most difficult figure in that to do in terms of existing sculpts and stuff like that. But yeah, especially considering that essentially it's two of the same figure, essentially. For most part, like 90% the same. So, yeah. In fact, actually, I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna have another look at it. I can't remember whether they actually had different head sculpts. Because if not, they are literally, like 99% the same. Yeah, it does look like they've got the same head sculpt. So, yeah, other than the skin colour being slightly different, they are literally like 99% the same. So, yeah. But I will definitely be picking up that set. In fact, I plan to get 3 of them. One to keep sealed, and the others I'll open so I can have 2 Suicide Daleks. I would like at least 2. Though that also does depend on the price. And I've said this before, if the price is £30, fair enough. Fair enough. You know, I'd say for an online, considering it be an online exclusive, and that where you don't have B&M taking the price down, £30 would be fine. 35, would be alright, okay, fair. Like, it wouldn't be too bad. If it was 40 though, that'd be pushing it. That'd be pushing it for 40 quid. That would be pushing it. And yeah. And part of me, well, not part of me, I would rather it have been the Suicide Dalek, Destiny Davros, and just one Mavellan. If it was that, I would have liked it much more. If it was a David Goodison Davros where his chair was actually painted black rather than grey. And I think the reason is because Alduar probably looked at the cobwebs and thought that it had gone grey. It isn't, it's still black. It is a bit beaten up. Because it had basically just been left in the Doctor Who Museum at Blackpool for, since Genesis of the Daleks, essentially. Which is also why the mask has basically, crumpled up and gone all crispy, because it's under hot lights in a basement, because it was in a basement, and that's the museum, under hot lights and that for years. So yeah, that's why the mask had gotten like that, and it had it didn't have much movement to begin with, but even less, and the fact that it really did not fit David Goodison's face. So yeah, plus it had probably shrunk a bit as well. It had probably shrunk a little bit as well because of it being a rubber mask, and that it had probably shrunk a bit, and you can see bits of it had cracked and that as well. So yeah. Whoa, a load of message redacted. What YouTube did you do videos for? What was the name of that company again? Because the name of the company changed 3 times, I think, when I was there. What did it call itself? Again? The channel isn't up anymore, by the way. Since the company, one of my last goals there was basically to take everything down, and that. I've still got the passwords though. I've still got the passwords to that channel. I don't know if they're still. I haven't tried signing in again, but I've still got all the passwords, and that because I was the one who set everything up. Something image. I should. I've said it in a previous live stream. Global Initiatives, that's what it was called. Global Initiatives. That was the one. Global Initiatives and Solutions. But it did change. It did change a few times. Hello, Mr. Valeska. Yes, I know you're trying to sell History of the Dark Sex, but they're not as desirable as you thought. Yeah. You see, the thing is, basically, when everyone's trying to sell them at the same time, they're not as desirable as they once were, a lot of them. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of the ones that were harder to get are, like, for example, it's pointless trying to sell any from, the last year or two. Now, I'd say. Because you know, there's plentiful of them out there. Like, basically, if you want to sell Doctor Who merchandise, you've got to wait for there to be one of two things. Either a dry spell where there's nothing of them out there, or when the price is at its highest. So you can capitalize. Why do I always get an itchy nose during live streams? It's only during live streams I get a really itchy nose. Shiny Work says, what B&M figure has Alderaan ruined the most? Oh. I think in recent years, at least, off the top of my head, it's going to be that Renegade Dalek. Because never have I ever, you know, thought that it was so off that I wanted to paint it myself. That was the thing that pushed me over the edge. And, you know, tried to paint myself. That was the first thing. Your room looks like a fire hazard. Probably is. Alderaan should make a 3-pack of himself. Should make a figure of himself. To be honest, if he was ever in Doctor Who, he probably would. I wouldn't be surprised. And to be honest, I would buy that figure. I would also buy an Ian Levine figure as well. If those ever happened. Someone made another eBay listing of you. Oh, did they? Did they make another eBay listing of me? Well, this time, we shall be able to see it together. So, yeah, display capture. Let's search for me. No? Can't see it. Sally. Have I put the camera big again? Yes, I did. Where was that? It's selling me for £30,000. Okay, I can't find it. I can't find it. If I search for 6 sec, it's not on there. I'll try my name. My actual name, I mean. Yeah, can't see it anywhere, so it's alright. Scan the Southern, hello. Yeah, must have removed it because I can't find it on there, so that's a shame. I would have liked to. If someone took a screenshot, can they at me on Twitter with that? Why is that flickering a bit? Ooh, it's going ba 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 ba. It's not happy. Go plug my phone in. Is that an interesting smell? I know you didn't get good money for me, Tonky, because the listing got your original listing got taken down. If that was you, so yeah. But yeah, where's up with that? Why is the Bitmix suddenly going to kaput? Don't know. I think things are chugging along a little bit here. Yeah. But yeah, I think that is kind of enough of that for now. And that, so yeah, God, my nose is so fucking itchy. I'll leave that there for now then, this live stream. And that's message redacted. So yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and that I don't know when it'll be back up on the thing because it's going blah blah blah. But that's a sign that the internet and that is going and everything. So, but yeah, hope you enjoyed this 10 years of 6 Sec Adventures, and as of tomorrow, technically 13 years of 6 Sec as a YouTube channel. And obviously I'll continue in that, doing videos and that for the foreseeable future and everything. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.